And a very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord with the CBC Evening News and our top story. Prime Minister Fronell Stewart, in supporting the latest tax amnesty offered by his administration, says it targets those who find themselves in positions of tax evasion.
There are people who have been assessed the tax, who are required to pay their taxes, and who, either by virtue of what they call necessity, or by virtue of their own prioritizing, the taxes don't get paid. And then the tax authorities have to impose penalties, and of course for as long as the assessment remains unsatisfied, interest accrues.
Well, the Prime Minister is encouraging Barbadians to make use of the amnesty period.
To come forward and pay their taxes free of interest, free of penalties, so that they can get their businesses back together and so that they can organize themselves for a great takeoff in their personal fortunes.
And Finance Minister Chris Sinclair is also urging business owners and individuals to take advantage of that tax amnesty. He says that once this 6-month period is up, there won't be another one for a very long time. Now, that amnesty, which started in September last year, allows taxpayers to catch up on arrears owed on income tax. It was implemented in the last budget. Minister Sinclair led off debate in the House of Assembly this morning to put the legislative framework in place to support it.
We said, look, we give people enough time that they can make arrangements if they have to do so with a financial institution, the credit union, the bank, if they have to do so with friends or colleagues, whatever the case may be, to get their arrangements in place by offering them the ability to have their penalty and interest waived entirely, so long as you make good on your principal payments. And if you can't pay all of them one time within, this is the principal payments, within the specified period of the 6 months, that you at least come into the authority and you make an arrangement.
Well, Minister Sinclair says at last check, government was owed more than $100 million in taxes, and that figure could be more by now. He says that once the tax break period is over, the Barbados Revenue Authority will move to a single taxpayer identification and clearance certificate system.
Very shortly, there will no longer be, as we move to the single platform, the designation of a tax clearance for land tax, a tax clearance for income tax, a tax clearance for VAT, a tax clearance for, as we currently now have, tax clearance certificates for all of those separately. We are going to move to amend the law that there will be one tax clearance, because there will be one taxpayer ID system. You will have a tax number. Each person will be given a tax number, and that will be your number in the system.
Meanwhile, Opposition Leader Mia Motley, in her contribution, which lasted about 1 minute, said that the Barbados Labour Party supported the amendment when it was first introduced, and there was no reason for the bill to be further discussed. She added that there were more pressing issues to be debated on the floor of Parliament. While the issues related to the sewage problem on the South Coast are being dealt with urgently, and people who try to pretend otherwise are doing Barbados a serious disservice. This is according to Health Minister John Boyce in response to comments from several opposition parliamentarians during the pre-lunch sitting of the House. He says that those charged with the responsibility to solve the problem are constantly monitoring that situation.
We are monitoring the situation and the implementation of the solutions which have been put to the country every hour of the day. The technical people, not the politicians, the technical people are putting in place the correct solutions. And the funds have been made available and will continue to be monitored so that that correction at the South Coast can be achieved.
And Minister Boyce also responded to questions about the sluice gate connected to the Graham Hall swamp being opened.
You need to open and allow this swamp to breathe. And this is, I call it breathe. That's not the correct technical term, but we know what we mean. You know? And if we don't do that, then people who live upstream of the swamp are seriously brought to jeopardy. Not only by rising waters, etc., but by stenches and odors developed in the decaying matter in the swamp. It really is as simple as that. And to try to pretend to visitors or to property owners that this opening of the sluice gate is a first-time activity, it has never. The local knowledge tells you no.
Well, an opposition MP has taken motorists, especially motorcycle riders, to task for their inconsiderate actions on the roads. St. Thomas Representative Cynthia Ford says that much of the national budget is spent on people who are injured in accidents, to replace property, or on the various costs associated with death.
As a matter of fact, driving on our roads now, in particular riding, seem to be the most offensive aspects of our culture that we will never ever have countenance at all. And it bothers me, Mr. Speaker, when I see what is happening, especially with a lot of our motorists who are males. The males in particular on the motorcycles, and we know of what transpired only on this weekend, and indeed every weekend we see it, and I believe that it really is putting a tremendous burden on our health services, our health and welfare services, because of what has been happening with injuries and people becoming disabled and destruction and so on in other places, and these people get the priority when they play the fool on our roads.
Well, a resolution was passed on the floor of the lower house today to acquire a parcel of land on Prince Road, Upper Collimer to facilitate the construction of a roundabout. Housing and Lands Minister Dennis Kelman says this will ease traffic congestion in the area.
One will recognize, Mr. Speaker, that over the years that the citizens of Barbados have moved towards purchasing a large number of vehicles, whether it be reconditioned vehicles or new vehicles. And as the number of vehicles increase in Barbados, we will have to seek to ensure that we make the necessary adjustments to the roads, whether we put lights where there's a need to be lights, or roundabouts where we figure that the problem is much greater.
Meantime, opposition member of Parliament for St. Michael South East, Santia Bradshaw, expressed concerns over the cost of the construction.
It doesn't appear to be a large parcel of land, but certainly it would be interesting to hear how much is actually going to be paid for this piece of land, particularly since we know government's resources are certainly constrained at this stage, and we've had a number of complaints as it relates to persons who have been promised that they will be paid money for the acquisition of their land and who have to this day not received the monies that were due to them.
Parents of students at the Combermere School are turning now to the Ministry of Education to get some answers regarding hundreds of displaced students there.
The parents are hoping to get some action in response to their pressing concerns. This morning, some of them along with their children gathered in Queen's Park to protest the arrangements students have endured over the past few weeks. First through 4th formers have had no school for about a month, while 5th and 6th formers were only accommodated recently in alternate locations.
Our main concerns are the lost time of education for our children. This is 4 weeks that they've been out. This week will make 5. Even if we throw away the last, it'll still be 5 weeks without any structured teaching for certain our 1st to 4th formers, and for our 5th and 6th formers in a disjointed manner at other locations. And we would like to know, one of the questions we wanted to get have highlighted is what is going to be done about that, those 5 weeks of lost time.
Following the protest, the group went over to the Ministry of Education to present a letter to officials highlighting these and other concerns. Among the concerns are also the marking of school-based assessments and the possible effects on the students' futures.
We now have 184 farmers who have ungraded on their on their transcripts from CXC, even if it is only at the CCSLC level. But you understand that universities and places of further education are looking at your entire transcript, and we are hampering our children again in that way. So we would like answers to that as well, and how we will get it corrected without our children having to go and resit exams or redo SBAs, which they sat down, spent countless hours on.
They've also called for clear lines of communication between the parents, teachers, and the ministry.
We know that work is being done at the school. Let it not be said that the ministry has done the work. As far as we can see, and as our review team has come back to say, the ministry has done the work that is required to help alleviate these problems or remove these problems from the school. The problem is that it has taken time, and in that time, our children have been left squandering. We've had nothing. I mean, you can ask the parents, and they will tell you, first, second, third, and some fourth formers have not heard anyone.
Education Minister Ronald Jones was unavailable to receive the letter. However, Parliamentary Secretary Senator Harcourt Husbands met with the group and promised a full review. The parents are hoping for a response sometime this week. Lorna Jones, CBC News.
Well, coming up, an appeal from the Salvation Army to give this Christmas. Stay with us.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153 to sign up to Digicel today.
What's your idea of holiday happiness? Watching the kids open presents. Preparing for a new arrival. The look on his face. Add to your holiday happiness with a Scotia Plan loan from Scotiabank. You could win cash and more. Get your loan today at your nearest branch. Conditions apply.
Christmas is not Christmas without Bico Ice Cream. So this year they're giving you 2 great specials on all flavors of 2.5-liter Double Delight or the 4-liter size value pack, either for just $36.50 each. The choice is yours. So put Bico on your list this Christmas. This offer available from participating outlets island-wide, Bico Mobiles and the Bico Direct Outlet on Harbor Road. Happy holidays from all at Bico.
Don't stand still. Go for what you want. Follow your dreams. For every experience, Stay Free keeps you dry, cool and comfortable. With flexible layers and thermal control technology, you're confident to move to your own beat. Stay Free. Keep moving.
The Salvation Army's Kettle Appeal is off and running for the Christmas season. The organization, which lends a helping hand to those in need, also received some welcome assistance in its drive to collect donations. And Lorna Jones has that story.
At this time of year, it's a familiar sound and sight. The chiming of the bell and the signature red kettle as the Salvation Army appeals for the public's assistance in supporting those in need. The Salvation Army's Divisional Secretary for Business for Barbados and St. Lucia, Major Ora Morris, says the kettle appeal has been going well.
So far it has been going good. As usual, the public is reaching out to the Salvation Army, and we are grateful for what is happening so far.
He, however, admitted the envelope appeal had started off slowly. Major Morris says in these hard times, more people are reaching out to the Salvation Army for help. He encouraged Barbadians to give what they can, noting donations need not be limited to cash.
And the Salvation Army try to meet the needs of people as best as we can. But we can't do this without the help of the general public. We definitely cannot do this on our own. So we need the help of the general public to make this a success.
At the Massey Warrens location, with offers of free hugs and impromptu melodies.
Happy holidays! Happy holidays! Where the merry bells keep ringing. Happy holidays!
Entertainers Blood and Mikey did their part as they aim to have one of the red kettles filled. The duo has been partnering with the Salvation Army for a number of years, and Blood says it's his way of giving back.
I usually use this time around, this time of the year to just give back. And Salvation Army, they've been calling us for a couple of years, and it's usually very, very fun. So I like to come on Saturday mornings, and it's a challenge for me sometimes too, because we like to make sure that once we're done, that this bucket is full, for the Salvation Army, and the joy and the feeling, and having people come over and spread a little bit of love. That's a feeling for me. That makes me feel good, and it helps me to spread that Christmas spirit that I love so much.
Meanwhile, Mikey says the partnership is a no-brainer.
We do a lot of work with Team Mikey Charity and that sort of stuff, so we know how hard things are, and we applaud the Salvation Army for their efforts in helping the less fortunate, especially during this time. But I want to take this time to remind people that there are 11 months, there are 11 more months in the year, you understand? So don't only wait until Christmas, spread a little cheer throughout the year. As cliche as it may sound, you understand? But let me try to keep Christmas with each other all through the year, man, for real.
Members of the public may also opt to purchase a postal order to donate to the Salvation Army from any post office at a substantially reduced cost. Lorna Jones, CBC News.
And it is indeed the season for giving, and pupils of one Christchurch school did just that with a drive in aid of the less fortunate.
The lasses of Christchurch Girls' School arrived this morning carrying dollars, clothing, food items and toiletries. Former student and organizer Tony Beckles says she was overwhelmed by the response of the students. She adds that this drive is only the beginning.
The whole idea is to try to give back to persons. I'm really happy that it turned out so well. I wasn't looking for such a big turnout and stuff as far as the stuff, but it did work out. And the children spread their dollars down around the map of Barbados, and I am happy, and I will be doing it again.
Principal Sharon Knight says she loves the idea of donating during the Christmas season. She also spoke of plans for the donations.
The items that were collected this morning, as well as the silver dollars, will go towards needy families in the community, as well as those within the school community.
Also present was writer and past student Shakira Bourne. She too deemed the drive a success.
It was a pleasure to come and give back to Christchurch Girls' School, which is where I started. I wrote my first story at this school, so it's good to see that the students are still enthusiastic, the teachers are still encouraging the students, and they have come out to give back to this drive.
The drive was the first of its kind held by the school, but by all indications, it won't be the last.
And at least one group of students is making sure the elderly are not forgotten this Christmas season. This as the Helping Hands of Wills Primary School paid a visit to the Love and Care Senior Citizens Home to spread some holiday cheer. They entertained residents with a dramatic musical presentation, which included traditional Christmas songs like Joy to the World and Jingle Bells. Teacher Shelley Roach says Helping Hands teaches children about the importance of giving.
They have, and there's so many people out there who don't, and it's important for them to see that there are others who need things too, and so it helps them learn a little bit about the true meaning of Christmas.
Helping Hands Alice George disclosed their charitable achievement this year.
And this year, we have teamed up with the Precious Touch Foundation to make terminally ill children dreams come true. We raised $9,000 in our last function through these kids for this terminally ill child. It's an 8-year-old whose dream is to go to Disney World, and we are going to make it happen. That's what Worlds is about.
And another organization is doing its part to ensure that everyone enjoys the season. The Young Men's Christian Association, or the YMCA's Ballroom Club, held their annual Christmas event for less fortunate children at the association's grounds this past weekend. The children were treated to fun activities such as face painting, sack races, and a jumping tent. Vice Chairman of the Ballroom Dance Club, Leroy Gibbs, says they are not only a dance club, but a social outreach club as well.
So what we do as an organization, every year we go to the district and we select those who are fortunate and able to enjoy Christmas, and we put on this event for them. Most of the members are dancers, and they come together and give up their time to make sure that these kids enjoy a Christmas spirit and activities.
Well, still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across our region. And here's a tip now from the Coverly Medical Center.